Welcome to Core Strength Basics Level 2. This is a follow-up to my last video, which goes over all the true core basics so that you can establish foundational strength. I hope you watch this one all the way to the end because I have a special challenge for you. I've got a challenge move to help you really assess how your core strength has come along, and it's a movement that you'll be able to come back to again and again to see how strong you really are. So definitely stay with me to the end, and let's get started with our warm-up. So stack yourself up, shoulders over hands, hips over your knees. Imagine a string pulling the crown of your head so that your neck is nice and long. And we're just going to do some breathing here. So I want you to picture your rib cage or your lungs expanding on all sides like a balloon. So taking a nice big inhale, not just going into your belly or your chest, but just feeling that expansion all the way around, and then fully exhale. And I want you to continue with that breathing, just sort of picturing that expansion. Sometimes the idea of an umbrella is really helpful here as a visual. So if you think about an umbrella opening up in 360 degrees all the way around, and then exhaling, just compressing all the way back down on all sides. So we want to just make sure that we're able to engage, keep going with your breathing, but we want to be able to engage all of these muscles all the way around. And then let's bring the knees out wide, and we'll just release. Let's relax our breathing for a moment, coming into a nice, lovely child's pose, just kind of releasing the low back. So our low back can be problematic sometimes and get a little bit cranky sometimes in core work. And as you probably already know, having a strong and stable core is one of the things that helps keep our low back healthy and strong and happy and out of pain. But we do want to pay attention. So that child's pose is a nice way to stretch it out, maybe release any tension or stress that's there, but do be mindful if you're experiencing pain today. So coming back up, sort of in that same idea, let's tuck our toes. And now without bending our low back or changing the position of our spine, we're just going to glide our hips backwards. And I want you to practice that three-dimensional breathing again, blowing all the air out and inhaling as you slide forward. So let's just do a couple more. Exhaling out. It's a great time to just tune in to yourself, to your body, and then notice any distractions that you might be feeling, and just dedicate this time to your well-being, to your mental health, to self-care. All right, and then let's come back to our stack position with those knees tucked. I challenge you to then exhale, pull your ribs up as tight as you can until you start to feel your knees come and hover off the ground. So now I've got my knees about 2 inches off the ground. I'm holding. Let's try to take a complete breath cycle here. Inhaling and exhaling all that air out without making any changes to the position of our torso. You probably start to feel your legs start to get a little bit warm. That's cool. Let's do that one more time. So again, stacking up nice and tall. Shake out any tension that you feel, and then exhale. Hover those knees off the ground. Full breath cycle, and exhale all the way out. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to shift onto our side. If you've practiced the Core Strength 1 video, you know this exercise. It's our side plank with the knees down. So we are now progressing to where this is our warm-up. So we're in the last video. This was part of your workout. This is part of our warm-up. We've got our knees down, elbows right under the shoulder. I'm driving my knee and elbow into the ground to press up into this side plank. So we can do about 8 to 10 per side. So we're just getting ready. And we're going to get into the strength portion of this workout very shortly. So we just want to check in with ourselves. This is a good time to just notice, again, are we having any challenges holding our form? We can always come back to some of these versions of the exercises, the knees down, or any of these warm-up moves are great to come back to for extra practice. So just a few more like that. I like to reach my top hand up when I'm doing these side planks. It just sort of helps me get that elevated position, but you can also put your hand on your hip for those. So take a quick breather. Our next block is round one. So getting back into our hands and knees position, we're going to be doing 5 exercises. We'll have level 1, and then we'll do the same 5 exercises with sort of an additional challenge, and I'll have that extra bonus challenge move for you after that. So coming back into our stacked position, tuck your toes. We're going to exhale, hover the knees up, and then we're going to tap back into a plank. And I challenge you to alternate which foot steps first. So I'm going right, left, and then left, right. So again, be watchful. Can you keep your shoulders really tall and strong? Can you keep your belly button like roughly the same distance from the floor throughout the entire exercise? If you feel yourself starting to fatigue or letting the hips drop, take a quick break. I'm going for about 5 or 6 on each side. And while I'm talking, I'm sure I've made some mistakes here with my alternating. That's okay. It's a good mental challenge too. Okay. I think this will be my last one. Feel free to go back to your child's pose for a quick recovery. Unloading the shoulders because we're going to need our shoulders working. Again, we're coming back to our side plank. But this time, I challenge you to go to level 2. This is our more advanced workout. So we're going to try it. Elbow under the shoulder, plant both feet. You can go into a staggered position, heel to toe, or stacked. And we're going to see if we can drive up all the way into a full side plank and then tap back down. Let's do 8. You got this. You can always go back to having your knees down. Notice I've got a little bend in my knees when I come to the floor, and that's so that my shoulder stays over my elbow the whole time. So I'll show you as we go to the other side. If I start out fully straight and I press up, my shoulder has to shift down just a little bit. So I want to make sure that I'm able to stay fully stacked and not put too much stress on my neck and shoulder. So be sure to squeeze your glutes as you get to the top of these planks, and then come down nice and soft with control. And then, of course, if things don't always go as planned, that's okay. We just have to have a good sense of humor about it. So no big deal. Okay, we get to rest our upper body a little bit, which I know you'll probably be happy about. Next couple exercises are on our back. So if you remember from our core basics video, we practiced some bridging work because the glutes are actually an important part of our whole core stability system. So we're going to build off of our basic glute bridge today, coming into a leg extension. So coming up, extending the leg. Last video we did do some single leg bridging, but I was less particular about where that lifted leg was positioned. This time I want you to keep, as best you can, your thighs parallel to each other and extend that leg out straight. So going off of that alignment with your other leg. So the other thing to watch for is, are you losing your bridge as you extend out? Like, is this happening? Right? So be sure your hips aren't dropping to the best of your ability. If this is just feeling like you're not quite there yet, practice on both feet for a while and build some strength there, okay? That is totally cool. All right, so next one, we're going to stay on our back. Go ahead and take a nice exhale here. Big expansion in the ribs, and then exhale, press your low back towards the floor. When you feel braced and you can hold your ribs down, we're going to float the legs up. Okay, so this time we're going to keep our knee on the left leg right over our left hip, and we're going to allow the right leg to drop open, just like you're opening a book. So we're asking our torso to stabilize against the floor. You can put both hands out on the floor if you need that for stability. I also kind of like to use that same side hand as my stable side to kind of remind my knee to stay right there. So if you're wobbly, let's move on to the other side and I'll kind of show you the option. If you're feeling like you're wobbling a lot, like you're rolling off to one side, make the movement a little bit smaller. So you can just make that leg drop just a little bit smaller until you feel like you can control it. And then when you're feeling more stable and you've practiced, you can try making that movement a bit bigger. So keep the rib cage down. You can always take a break and reset. We definitely don't want to feel this in our low back at all. Okay. I think I've done about 8 to 10 on both sides. So giving my knees a little hug, just kind of massage out the low back. And then our last movement of our circuit is a little, I call it a dead bug hold. So again, we're going to want to really compress the ribs, press your low back into the floor. If your elbows can reach your thighs, I want you to press into yourself as hard as you can. Keep your chin tucked towards your chest. We're going to be here for about 20 seconds. Of course, I've put myself in a position where I can't see my clock. So I'm just going to do the best I can. It doesn't really matter. We just want to go for the burn. So keep the chin tucked. Keep pressing into yourself. We're holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Okay. So that was round 1. Feel free to grab a quick sip of water, whatever you need, and we will move on to our second round. So as I mentioned, we will be doing the same type of movements, but we're going to add a challenge. So you can always go back to the first version. Really be thoughtful and mindful of your body and what you need today. But here are your challenge options if you're ready. So starting back in our little hands and knees position, tuck the toes. We're going to do that same tap back, but we're also going to add a shoulder tap. So we're actually just going to alternate now, tapping our shoulder as we extend the opposite leg. So it's sort of like in the last video when we did our plank with the shoulder taps, but we're adding a little bit more complexity. So again, once you're getting the hang of it, think about keeping your neck really long. Think about keeping your ribs pulling up and away from the floor and just trying to keep that same distance between your belly button and the mat the whole time. We'll stay here for 3, 4, 2, and 1. Okay. Shake out your arms a little bit. A little recovery. You know, we've got one more where we really need our upper body strength, and then we go to our back. So stay with me for this. We're going to go into another variation of a side plank. So we practiced our dynamic side plank, dynamic because we're going up and down. This time I challenge you to hold and do this side plank crunch. You can also find something in the middle and go up and down and crunch too. So whichever one makes sense for your body today, you can also stick with our original variation. So enjoy this for about 3 or 4 more reps. I sort of lost where I was there. So many versions. Okay, other side. So again, option 1, you've got your side plank up and down. Option 2, you can add a crunch and come back down in between each rep, or hold and do these continuous crunches. So I kind of like that you get a nice stretch on your back with this one too. Okay, woo! Excited to be done with those. Okay, coming back to our glute bridging exercise. Again, depending on where you are, option is always there to practice your 2-legged glute bridge or work on the variation that we did in the first round. Or if you're ready for more, you can hold your extended leg out and bridge up and down. So since you're not alternating, you're gonna feel a lot more fire in that working leg. All right, let's do about, again, 8 to 10. I give you that range because I want you to really honor your body. Notice where you're feeling like that fatigue and that burn setting in. You know, when you feel that fatigue, okay, can you do one or two more with good form? Or do you need to pause and take a break if the form isn't there anymore? You definitely want to pause and take a break. So listen to your body, just be curious, okay? How's my body doing with this? Where can I go a little bit more? So again, make sure that we're opening that hip all the way up at the top of this move. And by keeping this leg extended out, we're actually challenging our low abs quite a lot. So hopefully you're feeling that. Woo, okay, I'm getting out of breath. All right, so massaging out our low back to set up for the next one. Go ahead and just, again, take that nice inhale. Exhale, press your ribs down. Low back is secure into the floor. Version 1, one leg drops. Version 2, both legs drop. So you want to kind of glue your knees to each other. And I'm just going to move my little mic pack. So I like having the arms out for a little bit of balance. That's going to kind of like your braking system. So you can use your arms to make sure you don't flop completely onto your side. But I really want you to think about those inhales and exhales. So inhale as you drop, and then exhale, pull your ribs in tight, pull your belly button down like you're trying to connect with the floor underneath you through your belly button. So yeah, exhale, inhale, exhale. You got this. Oh yeah. So yeah, definitely feeling those. Okay, I'm gonna shift around so that I can see my clock now. So last time through, on our last set, we did our dead bug hold like this. So this time, I challenge you either return to that, practice that, or go into a hollow body hold with me. We're gonna stay with this for about 20 seconds. Drop your shoulders. Make sure your chin is lightly tucked. Think about your low abs. I like to press my legs together for this one. So that really helps me just feel anchored. We're staying here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Are you ready for your challenge move? Take a moment. Take a moment. I'm going to take a moment, have a sip of water. So when I'm working with clients, I always like to give them lots of great things that they can practice with confidence. Exercises where you know you'll be successful in really engaging the appropriate muscles, getting the result that you're after, being able to execute it really well with good form, right? But then I also like to sprinkle in, it's like the little spice, a few challenge moves where it's like, maybe the first time we try it, it might not go perfectly or it might not even go at all, but it's gonna be that little thing that we can think about as like, okay, wow, in a few weeks or a few months, you're gonna be able to do this new skill. You'll be stronger, you're gonna be more capable, and it'll feel so amazing to look back and remember when you couldn't do it the first time. So, or when it was just really messy and difficult. So this might be one of those times for you, or you might just completely impress yourself right now, but here's our challenge move. Here we go. We're gonna come back to that hollow body hold, and then we're gonna alternate into a boat and back to our hold. Join me when you're ready. We're gonna spend about 30 seconds on this. And I want you to tell me in the comments if you think this is easier or if the static hollow body hold is easier, because sometimes this movement, it actually I don't know, it gives you something to focus on, so it just feels easier passing the time or something. But yeah, tell me in the comments which one you think is easier. Tell me if you tried it. If the hollow body hold is too easy, do bring your arms up overhead. We'll stay here for about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are done. Join me in a quick stretch. Nice work. Join me in a quick stretch. And then be sure to watch out for the next video that's coming out. I have our core basics 3. If you liked this one and you felt challenged but you're ready for more, keep your eyes out for that because I will be rolling that out very soon. So the nice thing about these videos, they're all body weight only. I definitely have lots of core workouts that use different pieces of equipment, but I want you to have lots of tools at your disposal that will help you get stronger and stronger with no equipment at all. So I hope this left you feeling energized, elevated, and empowered for the rest of your day.